your life then.
So I'm noticing, Habib, that I'm applying pressure.
You seem to be deflecting my.
No. It's actually quite the opposite.
Every single question that I've put forward to you, you have completely ignored it. So I'm gonna stop answering your questions. As a matter of fact, if you can't,
if you don't want to answer my questions, you're welcome to leave the live, Habib.
No,
but the problem is,
that's fine.
Habib, you joined a live that says I'm an atheist, change my mind.
Yeah,
you joined a live that says I'm an atheist, change my mind.
Yeah, but
you appear. Excuse me. Excuse me.
No, I'm not.
Okay, Habib, I've just muted you.
Take the risk of thinking for yourself. Much more happiness, truth, beauty, and wisdom will come to you that way. Thank you.
Thank you to my patrons. Your generosity and commitment to my work is astonishing. Please consider becoming a patron today. Simply click the link in the description below. Thank you. What do you got for me, Habib?
Well, I was just actually browsing, and I just came across this, so I thought let's see what's going on. What I mean, I can see it says so you're an atheist, and it says change my mind.
Yeah, sure. Do you have any evidence or argument that would potentially change an atheist's mind?
Well, me personally, I have the conviction that there has got to be a God out there. There has got to be. I mean, per se, you can't. There is no sort of specific way of proving that there is someone divine out there. It's always been, for me personally, I'm just talking about my own personal sort of thing. So I just want to see what your views are on God, and why God doesn't. I mean, why you don't believe there's a God. Would you like to have your say?
Well, you've already made me very curious. If by your own admission, there's no good reason to believe it, and perhaps I've paraphrased that uncharitably, perhaps you would like to correct my wording there, but you seem to infer something like you can't possibly prove that there's a divine being out there somewhere. So, just to be clear, I'm not looking for proof in the sense of 100% certainty. I'm just looking for some evidence, and by evidence I mean anything that would raise my confidence level in the truth of the claim. So that could be an argument. It could be a piece of data, like some kind of evidence in the world. Some people might want to appeal to complexity or design, for example. I mean, I don't know what kind of arguments you might have, but if you're saying that there's no evidence or proof or anything of the sort that would lead you to conclude reasonably, rationally, that there's a divine being, then I guess I'm curious as to why you're a theist to begin with. Why do you believe if by your own admission there's no good reason to believe? Or do you have a good reason? And it sounds like Habib.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Habib, yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Did you hear what I said?
Okay. Yes, I heard you. So, I just want to get one thing clear. It's not about. I'm not here to, try and get one over the other. Try and convince you, to make me look good or anything. It's just, that's not. I just want to have a proper sort of conversation, because I'm particularly curious. Why? I just want to know what's on your mind. Why you don't believe that there's a God?
Yeah, but you haven't answered my question, Habib.
Yeah, no, okay. Yes, I'm just gonna answer that now. So, for me, so coming to your question, what was the question again?
So why do you believe, if you're going to start off by saying you can't possibly prove it, then why do you believe?
So I believe because it's faith, and because of the faith, there's a deep conviction that there has got to be something you know, after out there afterlife. So there's, you know, otherwise all this would account for nothing. There would be no purpose to life. That's my view.
Have you ever heard the phrase argument from consequences?
Possibly not.
So, Habib, an argument from consequences is a type of fallacious reasoning where the speaker maintains or asserts that something must be either true or false because of the consequences that it being true or false would entail. So you've just said that you have a conviction that this is true, that God exists, because if God didn't exist, there'd be no purpose.
Otherwise, all this would account for nothing. There would be no purpose to life.
So in other words, because having no purpose is a consequence you dislike, therefore there must be a God. But this is fallacious in the extreme, which is to say, Habib, that this argument can't possibly get you to the conclusion you want to get to. This can't demonstrate that a God exists, because in reality, whether or not the consequences of something are desirable tells us nothing about whether or not something is true. So, for example, it might be undesirable to me that people get old and they get sick and they die, but just because those things are undesirable doesn't make them any less true. And you appear to be claiming that in the absence of a God, the consequences are undesirable, so therefore God must exist. Do you see how that doesn't really work as an argument, Habib? How that isn't really rationally motivated? Let's put it that way.
Oh, I mean, by all means, I'm not even putting it forth as an argument. It was just a question.
No, I get that, Habib. Forgive me for cutting across. I should have been more clear. I get that you're not trying to convince me with that, but what I'm telling you is that this isn't even a good enough argument for you to believe in God. Like, you give me that as your reason for why you believe. I'm telling you that that shouldn't even convince you. It definitely doesn't convince me, but it shouldn't even convince you because it's fallacious. We shouldn't be believing things based on whether or not the consequences of belief or rejection of the claim are desirable to us. That's not a good epistemology. That's not a good way of arriving at the truth.
So I can honestly say that I am completely satisfied in the belief that there is a God. Now, say if God does not exist, what is the purpose of life then? Can you explain what is the purpose to life then?
So I'm noticing, Habib, that I'm applying pressure.
You seem to be deflecting my.
No. It's actually quite the opposite.
Every single question that I've put forth to you, you have completely ignored it. So I'm gonna stop answering your questions. As a matter of fact, if you can't,
if you don't want to answer my questions, you're welcome to leave the live, Habib.
Well,
but the problem is,
that's fine.
Habib, you joined a live that says I'm an atheist, change my mind.
Yeah,
you joined a live that says I'm an atheist, change my mind.
Yeah, but
you appear. Excuse me. Excuse me.
No, I'm not.
Okay, Habib, I've just muted you. So you joined a live. I'm happy to speak to you again. If you want to leave, that's fine. But if you want to wait while you're on mute, that's fine. Habib has just left. Habib joined a live which has the title, I'm an atheist, change my mind. But it appears that Habib is under the impression that he joined a live that says something like, I'm an atheist, you can ask me as many questions as you want, and I'm going to try and justify my atheism to you. But that's not the live that Habib joined. Habib joined a live called I'm an atheist, change my mind. And when I pressed Habib on his justification for believing in God, it's quite funny, the projection. He accused me of deflecting and dodging because I was holding him to account on his fallacious reasoning. And I wasn't going to allow him to change the topic to something that the live isn't even about, i.e. how I justify atheism or something like that. And so I muted Habib in order to explain this to him, and unfortunately he has run away because he doesn't want to be challenged. Please notice that the last thing he said when I redirected my challenge to him was he's completely satisfied in his belief in God, which wasn't a response to anything I said.
I am completely satisfied in the belief that there is a God.
So in short, Habib believes in God because the consequences of there being no God are undesirable to him. He believes according to faith. And the unfortunate thing, Habib, is this. There is nothing that you couldn't accept on faith. I could believe that the moon is made of cheese based on faith. And if you pressed me on that belief and I responded to you by saying, well, I'm completely satisfied in my belief that the moon is made of cheese, you would rightly think me an idiot. So I think you could probably infer what I think about you at this point, my friend. But listen, feel free to call back. Feel free to join another live in the future, and potentially we might have a more successful dialogue. But don't presume to dictate to me how the conversation is going to go. And don't join my live and tell me that you're not going to answer my questions, because that ain't happening. Sorry. Get out of here with that.